YouTube. I'm Iron War, and welcome to the War Room. We talk about sports, politics, food, life, so on and so forth. So this has been, for me, quite the weekend. Uh, like I've said in some other pods, my birthday is getting ready to come up tomorrow. As a matter of fact, September the 26th. Shout out to Libra gang. Talk about that another time. But just real quick on that. So your boy will be 35. So it's a good time. Life is good. Uh, I'm just getting started. So. So yeah, for the weekend, a lot of stuff was going on, and I did a couple mini vlogs. To coincide with what we had going on for the weekend. Like I said, the Michigan State lost. Had a rough time with Notre Dame. Michigan pulled the game out. They got a little tight. Wilton Speed got hurt, but they ended up pulling that game out and playing way better in the second half. I'm bugging out on who they played. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of who it is, but they ended up getting the victory and just had a good time. A lot of people were out in town. A lot of Notre Dame was here in East Lansing and so on and so forth. And then Sunday, I ended up going to the Lions game, so I did a couple little small posts of being at the game and checking out the renovations and, some of the stuff that was going on. And right now I'm trying to post that last 2 minutes of that game that I had on my phone, and right as they were getting ready to make the call, of course my phone would die. So right before they overturned the call and all the, drama that ensued with that, my phone, of course, would die. So that was kind of crazy. But I'm trying to get it to load. It's not seeming to work. I don't know what the heck's going on. But yeah, it was a good time. It was hot as hell. I mean, it was probably, I said 91 on my pod, on the other pod, but I'm going to change it. It was probably like 94, 95 degrees. It was humid. It was muggy. And technically, this is the beginning of fall. And fall and winter time in Michigan is real prevalent around here. We don't really get much of a heat throughout the year. I mean, we get a couple months when it's really hot, but to have this be the end of September and it was hot as July, right when we in the thick of it, was kind of crazy. It's kind of the craziest weather we've had in quite some time, especially this late in the year. But yeah, so like I said, man, we went down to the Lions game, had a really good time. Yeah, just overall, it was. I see that, they've, like I've said before, they've added renovations and done a couple of different things. So when you walk up, they've got the new board that they do every year. We got the new uniforms, a new little bit of the enhancement of the logo, and they're supposed to have all these $1 million, I don't know, $100 million renovations in the stadium. So we walk in, and because it's so damn hot outside, the AC game is messed up. I'm like, wow, so it's hot in there. It was only like 3 or 4 degrees less hot inside the stadium than it was outside, and we in the dome. So it felt like we were still outside. So it was real muggy. It's a lot of people. And even they added the new Wi-Fi, and that stuff was kind of suspect. I mean, it worked for a little bit, and my fantasy stuff got messed up because I was so wrapped up in trying to get to the game. I forgot to set up some of my lineups, so I'll do a recap of that and who I forgot to play. I'll do that another time. But overall, I didn't really see a lot of the renovations. I mean, I seen a couple new things. I think like right when you walked in, like I had on my other video, they have like a new like kind of, it used to be an old Pepsi tower right in the front of like a Pepsi can, and now they've turned that into like almost like a rounded out Teletron where you got the kind of the animations that will kind of go around in a circle or whatever. And then they had some other lighting, and I seen some other food places, stuff affiliated with like Kroger's. That's a Michigan regional thing for those who ain't familiar. It's basically a grocery store, and they had Slows barbecue. Slows is out there in Corktown, where the old Tiger Stadium used to be at. So that's actually the oldest neighborhood in Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. So they had Slows barbecue in there. Then they've had some other places. You got a prevalent Middle Eastern, Greek, Italian, Jewish, a lot of communities out here. So you see a lot of the similarities in the food with a lot of the shawarmas and the lambs, and the tzatziki sauce and the garlic sauce, and a very Mediterranean feel with the food. So we've seen a lot of that in the inside of the place. Everything's still expensive as fuck. I mean, I bought a Blue Moon. It was in the can, the bigger can. It was $9, but you gotta expect that. But yeah, I mean, it was. I didn't see a ton of stuff that I thought I was gonna see. I'm assuming that's in the premium seating and obviously the luxury suites and all that. And hopefully I'll be able to get to that. I'm working on that as we speak. But usually when I go and I get the lower level. Lower level is really the way to go for me. You're right there on the action. So we're right there on the corner. And I always got to do the aisle so I can get in and out and I can maneuver throughout the stadium. And it's easier for me to get up and let people pass instead of having to go in between people and all that other stuff. So it worked out really good. We had really good seats. Um, we had a really good time, other than the loss. Um, but yeah, so to really get into that, uh, the Lions, as of late, I mean, we've had it for a long time, but really as of late, as far as some of the, now that we're trying to take that next step and trying to be on the cusp of being a perennial team, we've had these different ways, whether it's our fault or just the referees or whatever the nonsense is of screwing us over. And we've kind of fell into a lane of finding different ways of losing and experience it like for those of us who are real Lions fans who don't really understand the culture, it's a lot like Cleveland, but just different as far as it's been a long time since we won 1957. Um, we've just always kind of been unlucky and always catch a lot of the bad breaks. So for us, we got a phenomenal fan base. It's always a great time being at the game, but we've had a really rough time. I mean, like this Lions thing is like to the end. Like once you're indoctrinated. I've been indoctrinated since the early 90s when I was a kid. Probably, I think once I got to about 9 or 10, I think that's the rule for us. So I was talking to my homeboy about that. Once you get to about 9 or 10 as a Lions fan, you just into it. You can't really get out the game. It's like sports heroin. I know it's a hell of a metaphor, but yeah, you feel like you're going to kick it and you're like, yo, I'm done. I'm not watching them no more. And then bam, we back for another season. So some of our luck that we've had as of these last couple years with referees and different things that we've had that have screwed us out of games and different calls and so forth. To be there at the game, oh, I'm sorry, to backtrack, to experience on TV, it's like, it kills you because and this is a feeling that we're all too familiar with losses around here. We know we're going to lose, but now we've, because of how great Stafford is and being able to come back, and we've done that pretty much any time. It's nothing is ever too insurmountable for him, so that's why it is pivotal. I mean, he's getting paid a lot of money, but I mean, I was really impressed with how he handled himself yesterday. But knowing that we always had a chance to come back and we always would win, to get to that point in the game, and from just looking at it from my camera and looking at it with my eyes, it looks like he crosses and we win the game. But then you slow the camera down, and his knee hits the ground, doesn't cross the plane, and then we run out of time. You just literally felt the whole, like when people say you feel the emotion or whatever, the energy leave the room, that's exactly what it was. That was one of the most intense as far as sporting events. I think that might have been the most intense thing I've ever experienced in my life. As a real football fanatic in my own right. Just being accustomed to, Lions always kind of getting the right of the deal. I'm kind of numb to that. But to have that and to lose the game and everybody's just in the stadium, I hope I can put it on there. But yeah, when my phone died and everybody's like looking around like, all of a sudden you see Atlanta run on the field and you're like what happened? Like, it was just like, what? And everybody's looking around and then like, we changed the call and, by that, the clock would have ran out, and so Atlanta wins. We're like, what? Like, it was rule of touchdown. I don't know. It's just so crazy, Yeah, that one that was probably because I've been to too many losses. I've been fortunate. Every time I've went to quite a few games in my life. I try to go to at least 2 or 3 a year, especially since Calvin and when Sue was there, and as long as Stafford's been playing with us, I've been going for quite some time. So probably I want to say he's been there 9 years. Probably at least the last 6 years, I've been going at least one game a year, but I try to hit 2 to 3, like I said. Yeah, that's probably the worst loss that I've ever been involved with. Um, we struggled a lot on the tackling. It's I've had my opinions on Jared Davis early on, like well, I wish we would have got Ruben and some of the other things. And now that I've been able to watch him and how he's supposedly one of the first ones there, last ones to leave, coming in being a leader, is really accountable on losing and doesn't like losing. Something that we really haven't had in a long time. I got a lot of respect for him, and it just shows you how pivotal he would have been to that game if he'd have been able to play. Because Devontae Freeman wore us out the whole game. That boy is nice. He went like 24 carries. I thought he almost had 50 yards, but he ended up only having 106. But he had a touchdown, was catching stuff out of the backfield. Very shifty, lateral movement. And then Tevin Coleman bringing his pass catching ability, a bigger running back himself out of Indiana. Yeah, so we had a really rough time with the run game yesterday, but the fact that we didn't really let Julio get off, and Julio had 7 catches, and I want to say 91 yards, but no touchdowns. I'll take that all day. Slay, shout out to my man, Big Play Slay. Big Play, let me put that in. Big Play Slay. Man, that boy was shutting it down. Did an excellent job on Julio and really keeping him at bay. And same thing with Glover, getting I'm sorry, let me back up. Slay had the 2 interceptions, a lot of big tackles. Glover had my man GQ, my favorite player on the Lions. He had an interception himself. Our team played without having Jared, and let me back up a little bit more. I'm sorry, I forgot about Tavon. Tavon not being out there as well. He's one of our better safeties. We got one of the better secondaries in the league. Not having him definitely hurt us. And you can see it with the tackling as far as how the running game was. But as far as really keeping the pass game relatively under control, Sanu caught a touchdown. Taylor Gabriel had one on a little trick play. But to really not let Julio get a touchdown, I'll take that all day. So shout out to Slay, Killebrew, Quandre, Belt, Valor was out there, Warlow. Everybody was out there just trying to get it done. And then when we needed turnovers and we needed to take that next step as far as getting the ball back, the defense came up big. We definitely had our defense out there way too much, but our defense kept us in that game. And in my opinion, we won the game. But it is what it is. We didn't win, but the defense did everything necessary for us to win that game. So shout out to that whole defense. We didn't really sack Matt Ryan. We might have sacked him one time. I don't. Yeah, we had one because I think I took a picture of that one as well. We got him one time, but we stifled him enough to be able to create turnovers off of tip passes. So I'm really impressed with our defense. As long as we can keep the health, we get Tavon back. Hopefully this concussion thing doesn't become a reoccurring thing with my man Davis and get well. Take your time coming back. I like where we're going. We struggled with that run game immensely. I see Zenner got the ball a little bit. He had a couple opportunities, but he didn't get much. But I really don't like Abdullah and Riddick coming out of the backfield. They're just too small. They're dynamic in space, dynamic pass catching running backs, but that's not what we need. We need a Devontae Freeman. Is what the way he was slicing through the defense, or a Tevin Coleman. We got to really find that ability to have that big play running back on our team, and that's something we're definitely missing. And it can potentially stifle our offense. But overall, like I said, I think we played well enough. We had a couple. There was a pivotal point in the fourth quarter where I think we might have created. We had a 3. We had ended up getting the ball back, but then we also had a turnover, and we went out 3 and out on both plays, on both series, and that really hurt us right there. Being able to not capitalize and being able to take the lead early in the game. But like I said, went all the way down to the wire, and it looked like I guess I just really got to do some research on that one, because that's probably one of the strangest calls I've seen. But like I said, with the referees and how they are with us and how some of the stuff that we've lost and the foolery we've had to deal with, it doesn't really surprise me at this point. So, yeah, but overall, Uh, Other than it being really hot and them losing the way they did, I had a great time. And it was, I'm definitely going to get back out there and try to, hopefully I can get maybe a better camera. They act real funny with the security stuff. But like I said, hopefully I can put that YouTube video up of me catching them last couple minutes of the game and trying to do the best I could with a camera with the camera phone, because they don't really let too much stuff in there. But overall, I had a really good time. So that was dope. So we got to go on to, trying to think, who do we play next? I think it's Minnesota. Let me look. But in the meantime, while I'm trying to figure out who else we play, next time, if it's going to be that damn hot in there, I bought me a little funky ass towel right here. Some bullshit. $10 for a towel, but whatever, it is what it is. And then also, it's going to go inside my banner back there. Every time I try to get to the game, I try to get one of these. I always think these are cool. So as let me put it in the camera. So you see it right there, bam, little game badge. It's probably blurry as hell, but my apologies. You can see it, I don't know, September 24th, 2017. So every time I try to go, I try to get a pin so I can put in my banner as a document of something to reference in history of how many times I've been to the game. So like I said, I think we'll be all right. We got robbed on this one, but as far as overall metric, I like where we're at. We beat the team that went to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. So as a Lions fan, you got to be excited for that, and the fact that we were, we kept it close and we ended up really winning the game. Regardless of what the score is, we won that game. I just got to get some more clarification on the rule, but it is what it is. But yeah, so that was a really good time. And then other than that, I've just been sitting around. I took today off. I'm probably going to try to get on this 2K. I was thinking about trying to get this Marvel vs. Capcom 4, but I don't feel like it. It's too dang hot outside. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm up here watching TV. Before I round this out, the guy that I have to nominate, I'm going to do the shit list on the end this time. And let me preface my comments before I even really get into this, because ironically he's on right now. Our President of the United States is who I'm referring to. But I'm going to preface, like I said, I'm not pushing no political agenda. I'm not, trying to push any of this. I'm merely speaking from what I see and what we cannot deny and what is the reality of the lives that we're living right now. Mr. President, you get a major shit list, because I don't know what's going on. You are ruining everything. Every single thing that I'm trying to do as far as enjoyment, whether it's my livelihood or the sports, your name is involved in it. I can't even turn on a regular TV show without you having a basis in the TV show. And we sit up and we talk, and I read all these YouTube comments all the time about, this and that, and oh, well, Kaepernick's doing this and Kaepernick's doing that. Why can't we just stick to sports? And I'm watching sports and blah, 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 blah. Well, in this situation, why is it that when I'm watching sports, I got to see my damn President of the United States all up in the camera having a Twitter battle or Twitter issues with Steph Curry and LeBron James? Let me say this one more time, because this is coming from somebody. I don't do Twitter. Like, I got my little consignment operation on there to do business. Holler at me on the shoes and whatever, That's a side note, shameless plug. I don't really do social media. I don't got no Facebook. I don't got no Instagram. This is the only platform I use. I'm not. That's not really my thing. I'm not into it. I'm not knocking anybody that does, but it's just not for me. Excuse me. I'm trying to see a little shadow and shit, but it's not for me. But to see that we've got all these other issues in the world. We had that horrible tragedy in Houston. Shout out to my family in the 713. They didn't have any issues, and that's a whole other story. But by the grace of God, they're okay, and they didn't deal with all the horrible things that happened to a lot of those citizens down there. And please, God bless all of them, and hold your head. And, I can't even imagine what you're going through, but it's just a lot of love coming from me with that, and just try to maintain. And like I said, I don't want to get into a tangent with that. And then we got Irma going on with Florida and Puerto Rico getting wiped out, and a lot of the West Indies, a lot of the Caribbean islands, and all this other stuff that we need to be focused on. And our president of the United States is calling NFL players sons of bitches and all this other crazy stuff. And we've got real issues going on. And our president is focused on football. And I'm seeing on the news that I haven't really got into all of it because I just get tired of dealing with all the politics stuff. But it's a reality of life. I'm seeing, I don't know if it's fake news, real news, but all of my emails on CNN and all these other channels. I'm watching the Wolf Blitzer show right now as we speak, that supposedly the U.S. has we declared war on North Korea. The guys that are testing nuclear bombs and hydrogen bombs and all this other stuff. And I know what people are thinking, oh, well, they don't have the capability. Irregardless of all of that, the fact that we're having issues with this country and supposedly we're any minute from having some type of potential worldly devastating problems. Our president said that Steph Curry ain't invited to the White House. Like, I give a damn about, honestly, if the Warriors go to the White House. Because that's not, congrats to them, phenomenal. Other than if they're going in there to change some laws or try to get some real change done, that them just coming for a visit doesn't really affect my life. But that's what our president is tweeting about and having issue with the fact that guys are taking a knee and doing all this other stuff in football and calling individuals the owners and all this other stuff and all this nonsense. Locking into that. That's what our president is locking into right now. Like I said, I'm not trying to get into policy and all that because that's a whole nother topic, and we already know how it is. We're talking politics with people. People can't really allow people to have different opinions and not being all bent out of shape. So, because I dig it, it's fine. You're entitled to feel how you feel. It is what it is. I can't do nothing to change that. But I'm just speaking from looking at this whole thing as a perspective thing. We got a serious problem on our hands, and I just don't even understand what's going on right now. Like, we've got real shit to really lock in on, and all I see is the president having issue with the NFL and the NFL locking arms. And that's cool. I get it. I think it's dope that they're having unity. And I love the fact that, guys are speaking out and doing all this because I get it. Because I've always, kind of in my heart, had conflict with some of the ideologies of America and how we perpetuate one thing, but really the ugly truth is we've still got a lot of work to do. And don't get me wrong, this is still the greatest country in the world, and I love being an American citizen, and I get it. But it's a lot of stuff that we handle that I really just don't agree with. But that's what's so dope about America, is that's my right to be able to feel that way. But as far as this stuff going on with the owners and everybody locking hands, it just feels like to me, I think everybody's still kind of missing the point here. Unless this happens tonight, because we got the game coming on, and I'll do a prediction of that too. But unless it happens tonight, everybody's locking hands, everybody's speaking out, everybody's taking a knee or exercising their ways, not coming out for the anthem, having issues with people not sitting up for the anthem, people doing this, all this other stuff. Why, if it was so, prior to Trump saying something, you didn't want to sign Kaepernick? Now Trump has said something, and Trump has put this rhetoric out here talking about this and all this other stuff, and people opposing the flag and all this, and now everybody's like, I guess what, enough is enough. Why is Kaepernick still not signed? If it's not Kaepernick falling on the sword with this issue, this isn't even happening right now. And shout out to my man LeBron, because I'm watching his media stuff earlier today, answering questions, and he's like, if I had my own team, I would have been signed Kaepernick. So then now clearly then now that Trump has said something, I guess I need somebody to please comment and help me understand. Now that everybody has a problem, what was the reason you didn't want to sign Kaepernick in the first place? Was it a so if you have an issue with race now, why didn't you have an issue with race then? I guess is really where I'm getting kind of confused on. Because now at this point, Kaepernick should be in the NFL because I know there's some teams that still need quarterbacks. Indiana still don't got a dang quarterback. Cleveland's still struggling, but that's going to be Kaiser having his lumps. Hell, we could use a backup quarterback, even though I like Rudolph. Somebody just needs to sign Kaepernick just on GP if we're past all this, right? So that's what I'm just still not understanding, and hopefully somebody will leave a comment and help me clarify and understand. Because if we're past this, he should be in the league right now. And he should be a catalyst and the leader, one of the leaders with this whole situation as far as where do we take this and how do we continue to move forward by providing unity and all this different conversation and really acknowledging that there's some ugly truths to America, and until we're honest about these things, we're not going to really ever get anywhere. So that's cool. Like I said, everybody's holding hands and all this and showing all this, but until we really can really eradicate some of this stuff, really at its core, whether it's the racism, the sexism, the prejudice, all this other stuff, when this really doesn't matter. It's just like, damn, I get when guys are like, oh, I just want to watch football. Yeah, now I get it. Because I don't really want to I don't want to hear about Trump every time I watch all the football channels. Like if it's on First Take or it's on Undisputed, then I get it. But if I got to just watch regular ESPN or the NFL Network and all we keep talking about is the fact that everybody's taking a knee now. But what did everybody do? Did anybody win? Let's talk about the stats again and get back to really what it's about, is the football game. Because months ago, did nobody want to talk about Kaepernick? Now everybody wants to talk now. So I don't know. I mean, I appreciate it for what it is, but it seems still kind of ingenuous right now. And then I've also did some research finding that in the mid 90s, they implemented guys standing up for the national anthem. This hasn't been something that's been in the NFL since its inception, since the 50s and 60s or 70s, whenever it came out. So this whole facade of everybody being so upset about the flag, I get the premise of why, but let's not make it seem like this has been some stuff that's been grandfathered in for almost half a century. So, like I said, I just think it's crazy. I'm just sitting back and I'm just analyzing everything as a whole. And I'm looking and I'm like, Kaepernick still ain't signed. So somebody better sign him tomorrow. Because then at that point, I don't want to hear none of this. So then now that we're taking knees, and everybody should be like, yo, I'm not playing until Kaepernick is signed, then, right? Because it's not about the money. It's not about any of that other stuff, right? If we really trying to make some impact. So salute to my man Kaepernick, man, really for getting this whole wave started and really being that one who truly fell on the sword for this issue. So just think it's awesome. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate the change, but if we're going to be really thorough about any of this stuff, we got to be thorough really to the origins of where these things started if we really want to have correctiveness and being able to move forward with really trying to do this unity thing. So yeah. Oh, and then damn, American Horror Story. Trump is all over on that too. So it's just like, I mean, Trump, you gotta get back to doing like your presidency, man, because it's just not like I can't even watch American Horror Stories. It's based in Michigan. They got these killer clowns and all this old crazy stuff going on, and it's supposedly because of Trump indirectly inciting a cultural race war and all these other things going on. And if you say you're really not about that, like you always say, it's not about race and all this, you need to fix this, man, because it's crazy. You into way too many other things, man. You in the political arena. This is what you signed up for. So you need to go in there and get that job done. Bottom line, man, you're a businessman, right? If it's not about any of that other stuff, you need to be 100 about what's going on, man, and really try to get some stuff corrected. You was the one talking about let's make this America great again. I don't understand how anything I'm seeing on TV, if this was your idea of making America great, then we need to really reevaluate the language we're using. And we need to really be mindful as Americans and people, really what these people are saying, and really start being more thorough about reading in between the lines, because This is just absolutely crazy. I'm watching it right now. This is the White House defends Trump and NFL backlash. Like the NFL and Donald Trump should not even remotely correlate. Is really what I'm getting to. NBA and Trump should not correlate. Period. Especially on some of the stuff that we're talking about, these political, civil, and racial issues. So really, that's really all I have to say about this. I had to just, I wanted to just give a, recap of my weekend, and how it was just a real weird weekend as far as some of the stuff that went on with the game, and then all this stuff going on with the presidency and potential war and all this other stuff. So that's really all I got to say about all this. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to me, vent and really just try to put some real different perspective out there. So let me know what y'all think. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think as far as how do we eradicate this stuff? Is this really a problem? Are you not seeing what I'm seeing? Let me know. I don't take really none of this stuff personal, because it's important for everybody to get their opinion out so we really can generate dialogue and generate ideas so we all can move forward. Because I've got to assume whether you like somebody, don't like somebody, blah, 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 any of that, regardless, if we could just have respect for each other and just continue to try to just focus on what we need to focus on, I think everybody kind of wants the best for themselves. So if we all can use that as a common goal, like, let's get the job done, man, for real. So like I said, I appreciate y'all taking the time. Leave a comment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna watch this. Oh, forgot the game coming on. I'm gonna give a quick prediction of that. Uh, I'm gonna say the Cowboys win the game on the road against Arizona. I'm gonna say 24-17. But yeah, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm gonna be coming back with more stuff, talking about other different things. But I just had to get on here and just kind of really let it go. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, and y'all have a good day.